right, you guys ready for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Romeo Downtown Development Authority for Monday, April 1st, 2019, 7 p.m. I think we need to make a change to the agenda there.
Oops, yep.
Update the year.
That's right.
2000, yeah. Pause there for a second. All right, Lisa, can we do a roll?
Grant,
Yes.
Syka,
Here.
Hayes,
Here.
Poznanski, here. Kraft,
Here.
Parker,
Yeah.
Seidel,
Yes.
Humphries, Malzahn,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next up, we have public forum. If anybody would like the floor, now's your time. No? All right. Moving on. Approval of the agenda. Can I get an approval of the agenda with the change to the year from 2018 to 2019 at the top, as well as the approval of the minutes for February 4th, 2019. Do I have a,
Do the one at the bottom too,
oh, I'm sorry, one more.
for the next meeting date.
Oh, yep, next meeting date, change that.
Hey, at least you're consistent.
Right.
Do we know what is that, what's the date for that? Well, just
May
my
6th.
date is 6th.
May 6th.
It's May 6th, okay.
Yeah,
Just
that's
need
right.
to change it. All right, do I have an approval of the agenda with the change?
Can we, are we gonna have a treasurer's report?
We don't have,
So we
all
have to
she
strike
gave
that?
us, she gave us 2 documents.
Like treat
Is
that
what she
as
gave us.
treasurer's report? You say
Yeah, there's
okay.
no.
I mean, it's submitted, so thank yes. This will be verbal.
Okay, so leave it on?
Yeah, let's leave it on.
Can I have something in new business?
Sure.
I'll just call it a scavenger hunt for now, and then I'll join.
Okay. So that's gonna be for B, under new business after budget workshop date. We're gonna add scavenger hunt.
I'll make a motion with the changes and that one addition.
Okay, I have a motion by President Malzahn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Seidel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next we need an approval of the minutes from the February 4th, 2019 meeting. It was 2 meetings ago, since we didn't have a March meeting.
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
Motion by Poznanski. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Grant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next up, we have the treasurer's report from Carol Humphries. She did submit some numbers to us in the packet here. If you guys want to take a look at that really quick. I don't know if we'll be able to answer all the questions, but if there are any.
Basically, it looks like we just about have 87,000, right?
Mhm.
In the bank.
Yep.
Do you need a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
We do.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by President Malzahn. Do I have a second? Second by Seidel. We need roll for this, right? We're paying some bills.
Yeah, what's the?
Yeah, no, there's no bill payments on here.
Okay.
We're not paying anything?
No, there's no bill payments on
All
here.
right.
On the second page? No.
That second page is the clock.
Okay.
and
And the
she's
Virgin
showing-
Company?
Yeah.
What's
that's
that,
the
for
Virgin Com-
86?
That's who the clock,
Okay.
yep. She was just
Oh, this
showing
whole
what-
page is.
Yeah, this whole page is the clock.
That's just the breakdown?
Yep, that's just the breakdown.
That's
But you don't need
sponsors.
approval on that check?
I'll look for you.
No.
Okay.
We don't need to authorize these checks
These are checks coming into us.
No, on page one.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, right, the checks and payroll and the top checks, the general check.
Yeah, I think we should do a roll on this.
Authorize the payment of those checks.
Yeah.
Which is
That's just all.
$1,544.87, right? Is that it?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
Where are you seeing? Oh,
This
okay.
for the payroll.
So we already
Mel,
agreed.
yep, Melzak,
Yes.
Sidle,
Yes.
Parker,
Yeah.
Pratt,
Yes.
Kazansky,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Trika,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
motion carries.
Please have a note in there that it wasn't really a full treasurer's report. It's kind of a little bit truncated, or is it not?
Unless there's something else that's going out that we don't
Okay.
know about, I don't.
That would be the
There's
next
anything
meeting.
else. Yeah, it would have to go
Okay.
on the
All
next,
right.
next month's for approval. Alright, next up we have Lisa Hall with the director's report.
With the normal office work, I've provided all of the documentation requested under the new TIF Act to the Michigan Department of Treasury. Everything is posted.
Could you
on
explain
website.
that further?
Last year, the state of Michigan amended the TIF Act and what has to be reported to them and what does not have to be reported. So now they're requiring a copy of our TIF plan and the DDA plan is what they're requiring. And then after the first of the year, next year, we will have to provide them a copy of our budget. And we have to have 2 meetings during the year where we invite the other governmental entities that pay into the TIF. So we have to actually invite them to the meeting, so Washington Township and Bruce Township. It's just a different way of reporting.
It's not just, it's not, first in Washington, they have very small portions of it.
Right, well, they,
And it's,
because-
you'd have to send out a notice to everybody whom we're actually getting money from, right down to the library, which is a substantial amount of money.
well, the way I understand it, and the way it was explained to me, is it's the municipalities that we actually receive checks from. So it would be Bruce Township and Washington Township and the Village of Romeo.
Because they're the tax collecting authority
tax
for
collecting
the library,
authority,
for
right.
the star, for the, those other line items.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, that's the way I understand it.
And they're just a conduit.
But that's who the law states that we have to ask to come to the meeting, because they are the ones who collect the money, they're the ones who send us the checks. So that's the way that it's written.
I checked on that.
Well, I talked to the gentleman at the Treasury office, and that's exactly how he explained it to me. Was that's who needs to be invited to the meeting.
I received requests for that same documentation,
Right.
and I also submitted it.
Right.
And I CC'd Chris Went at the Bruce Township. She asked for a copy of it as well. If you hadn't given it to her, I might just send it.
Okay.
Now, is that just inviting them, or is that making sure we actually have 2 meetings with them here?
It just says you have to invite them.
Okay.
It's up, I mean, we can't make them
That's
come.
Is that, what does that entail? Invite, is it
I think it's just,
email
I think
invite?
I
Is it
just
a
said, I think it's just an agenda, it's just an agenda and an invitation to come to our meeting.
Curiosity, could you get a copy of that? For the new TIF? Are they looking to see that if someone's actually making progress on something?
I believe so, and for an accounting of what the money is used for and how it's used, yes.
And as we go into the Michigan Main Street program, a lot of their requirements actually coincide. So as we're doing the Michigan Main Street program, we'll be doing the requirements. So it'll be a lot easier, it won't be Lisa having to do all of this at one time. We'll be required to do it through that program anyways.
Just sheer curiosity to get a copy of it for the next.
Yeah, I got a copy of it. I can actually email it to you, I have it on, and that on the
That'd
laptop.
be even better.
Yeah, I'll email it to you.
I think it'd be good to just have it for all of us too, just
Yeah.
at the next meeting, you know, just for reference. I mean,
I think I actually have it on my phone.
We'll just throw it on there as an agenda item for next month.
The clock has been delivered. It is at the DPW. Installation is the 10th, the dedication is the 13th. Invitations have been mailed. Jay Foltz will be speaking at the dedication. I've arranged for all the refreshments. Got a permit for Main Street is going to be providing coffee. And I've got a permit for a tent for them. I have to talk to the gentleman from Vernon to see if there has to be an electrical inspection done, how we have to handle it. So, we'll see what goes on with that. Had a couple of discussions with Tim from the DPW regarding the banner schedule, and he and I agreed that the Christmas banners need to come down by the end of January and not stay up longer.
Just to piggyback on that real fast, I mentioned that to Tim this morning. If the DDA wants to investigate hiring somebody to take down and put up those banners, because that's absolutely something we can entertain. Does not have to be done by our DPW.
Right.
We're limited to their hours, whatever they're in the middle of, so that's why the Christmas banners stayed up so long, but
Plus, I don't think we had an alternative option.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
gonna cost us.
we can't have serve students climbing up ladders
Right.
and putting up the banners.
Right, exactly.
But if there's somebody that, you know another company that can do it, and as long as they have the liability insurance in place, we absolutely can take a look at that.
Okay. I guess it depends on the frequency in which we want to
Right.
switch them out, you know.
Right.
Tim indicated to me that he doesn't have a problem with it as long as he's not changing them every month.
Monthly.
You know,
That's
so.
I can't think of anyone except Whitcomb who would have the,
Oh, there's a lot of companies.
that have that kind of equipment that just do that type of thing.
Every tree trimmer out there,
Right.
anybody with a bucket and insurance.
We should be putting out a request for,
And that's where we
already
said if we were
paid the
gonna start
DPW.
putting up, if we were doing the take down and put up of other people's banners, that they should
should be
incur
paying
that
for
cost,
it.
not us.
Yeah, it depends on what it is, because we don't really have an approval process like they do with the banners that are hanging over the streets. We don't have anything really in place for the ones that are on the lamp posts, probably because those are a lot of banners to put up. There wouldn't be that request for, you know, an event or an organization that says, well, I want to put up every single.
They typically
light
just put
post.
the one over the street banner,
Right,
that's about
right.
it, which I think is $188 or something
Yeah,
like that for
200
Whitcomb to,
something.
to kind of take down and put up, but it's an option if you ever don't want them to be up for an undetermined length of time.
No Christmas banners in April?
That we can, right,
But were
investigate
they up
hiring
that
somebody
long?
to do that.
I mean, were they up that long because the DPW couldn't get to them, or we didn't
No,
give them
there
another
was,
option?
there wasn't another option.
Yeah,
I
so-
don't think we had anything. We just kind of were waiting to
So
see
it's-
what happened with the
So,
spring banners.
Did
for
we
the
have
school.
another option in past years?
Yeah, we had a different schedule as far as the banners go, but the idea was, I think that, I don't think, and I think this is what we kind of have to touch base on with Amy and the foundation and the art program, is we need to know when the spring banners are gonna go up, if they are gonna go up, because maybe we thought originally they might go up in March, and now it's April and we still don't have anything, so I think we just gotta, need
Well, we
to
used
nail
to
down
have
some
an event in
communication.
years ago, there
Yeah,
was the
Victorian
chocolate
days,
or the
right,
choc-
yeah.
So between Christmas and St. Baldrick's, there was a different one, but
When was Relay? March?
May. Relay for Lights in May.
Relay in May, okay.
The option, there's no option to leave the poles with nothing on them, and they're not gonna take the poles down, so we gotta get a better banner process as well.
Well, they took the poles down now, because I basically said, look, you need to get the banners down. And right,
So
we
they
had nothing to
pulled
put
the
up, so
poles?
they pulled the white poles, yes.
they usually do.
So
But-
maybe we,
Nothing there.
Right. My understanding is that they had to pretty much come out to
Well,
take the
the
banners
banners,
down
yeah.
anyway,
Oh, then
right?
that's not an
So,
option.
right, they
It's
just,
the
right.
banner.
But it's cheaper, I would assume, to uninstall and install at the same time.
Set the ladder up, down, right, yes.
do you guys wanna maybe, when we get to the funding request, we can kind of continue that conversation a little bit, since it kind of relates?
well, we're paying about $80,000 a year to get it done, so. Really? Really? We are paying $80,000 a year to get that done.
For the banners,
Yeah.
That's part of
You're
it.
saying with the,
DDA give
Oh.
back.
The
Gotcha.
BDA give back, we were told, was used to pay for the expenses in the downtown area.
Mhm.
So if we're already paying for it, why in the world would we be going out and looking to hire someone else?
I know.
Only because
agree
you're
with
just at the, right, you're subject to their time frame of availability.
I think more the issue is in Tim's
Right.
timeframe, correct if I'm wrong, it's more, what do we have to put out?
Both.
Okay.
We-
Combination of
what-
both.
I think what we're saying is we need a tighter schedule with the educational people and anyone else involved with that.
So did we not take down the Christmas banners because we had nothing to put up, or they just didn't take them down?
It was a hybrid.
Yes,
Okay.
somewhere in the middle.
That'll be
Somewhere
your
in the
request,
middle.
was that
Yes.
right?
They took down a few, because they put up the St. Baldrick's banners when those went up in March, but they didn't take down the bulk of them. So. All right, I didn't mean to interrupt your.
Oh, it's okay, that's all right. I mean, I talked with Tim, he and I talked for quite some time, and he and I decided, he and I would sit down and figure it out, and, you know, as long as he's got 3 weeks' notice, he has no problem putting banners up, is what he told me.
Right.
Same thing with the benches. He doesn't have a problem removing the old benches and putting in new ones, as long as he's got some type of notice that it needs to be done. And they did remove all of the garbage cans. The gentleman who's doing the garbage cans for us, his trailer broke and then his truck broke, and I stopped at his shop the other day and actually went in and talked to him. Tim is working on getting the garbage cans to him, and then he's going to bring them back. So it should be another couple of weeks. I didn't hear from Tim today, but I would imagine I'll hear from him in the next couple of days. You know, Grace contacted me, and I think she contacted you about the call for art for the mural. Her and I talked about that a little bit. The actual document is attached to my report, so you can see what she sent out in the way of a call for art. I did check into it a little bit regarding sign lines and ordinances. I was advised that it, you know, should be considered art, not really a sign. As long as it doesn't have any advertising or any kind in it, it should be considered art. I
Traverse
checked
City
into
just
it.
did a cool one.
Who did?
Did City.
Did they?
I don't know where it's at. I don't know what it says, Traverse City, but within those words, it would be like if we did Romeo, and the peach was just a part of what in the word was all the, what would represent Romeo. So you have a bulldog, and you have a peach, and you have our fan, and it was really cool how they incorporated it.
I'll have to look at it. Met with a couple of people from Big Red regarding the farmer's market. They had expressed interest to Kelly, possibly doing something with us with that. And I kind of threw out a taste of Romeo thing. Gonna reach out to them again and talk to them probably this coming week and see what they've got to say. Their thought process was, you know, a farmer's market here is never going to be huge because we're surrounded by farms and we're surrounded by, you know, people who sell things. Their idea kind of was, what if you incorporated with the restaurants, had the restaurants use the produce that is being harvested in a particular month and highlight that, and then possibly have the farmers bring that in at the same time and do it that way, was their suggestion. I've mentioned it to quite a few people, and people are on, they like the idea. It's just gotta get them in a room and actually talk to them. So,
Where does that stand? Because I mean, I remember last year, there was a bit of a, we were so late in the season that it was difficult to secure vendors, and everybody was already committed to other farmers markets. Have they reserved nobody's reserved the park for?
I have no special event permit for it.
So,
I'm aware.
There's no farmer's market.
nothing. So, if that's the case, is that not going to be, is that like a night event, or is that?
I think this would be more of a kind of a night event or an afternoon event, not really a morning type of thing,
And not every week either.
not every week.
The problem is that it just puts it at such a disadvantage, all those literally small, home-based, you know, businesses that are out there really just looking for a place to, you know, sell some baked goods and some stuff that they can, and it's just unfortunate that they won't have that avenue.
Is there anybody we could reach out? Because there's people who do this professionally, right? They will plan the entire thing and get the vendors, and they've got experience in it.
My understanding is Kelly put out a call for a market manager on the Farmers Market Association webpage. I do not know, she, haven't talked to her, I don't know if she's gotten any response back at all.
Can we touch base on it? Because I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
legwork done last year, and it'd be a shame that it just kind of went away.
I
Yeah.
even tried to reach back out to Lauren and see if she would take it up again, and I didn't think.
Just at least just touch base with Kelly so we kind of know where it's at. 'Cause
I should leave it alone.
Well, I also attached, we had talked about possibly having an event company come in and handle a lot of the stuff for Harvest Days. I do have entertainment already booked for Harvest Days, so that's why it's not included in this gentleman's price. I did go ahead and book the Detroit Circus Company because they are in very high demand. And if you don't book them soon, you don't have them, so I went ahead and booked them. But this gentleman would come in, bring what's here on this list that we wanted to have him bring. You can take things out, you can add things, you can remove things, however you want to do it. It would free up a little bit, it would free up some time for me. It's just up to you if this is something you're interested in looking at, you know, and possibly doing. It could free up time for me to be able to try and, you know, bring in more sponsorship money, do things like that, versus spending all my time. What he would do is if we go ahead and, if you guys are agreeable to this and we approve this, I would do a walkthrough with him, show him where everything has to be placed, including the stuff that I've already booked. And he would come out the day of Harvest Days, get it all set up, take care of it. The only place we would have to have people would be the surf students, say with the animals, to help them out a little bit. And then there's 4 inflatable games that, you know, he would need, we would have to have somebody for, but it's pretty much he would take it, he would do it. I would be there, you know, just to, if he had any questions or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I would be there to help. It wouldn't be, you know,
No, because
push it all.
I think even last year there was some discussion about, you know, the amount of hours that, around that time, it was just, you know, Lisa had more hours than what we were used to her having in that position. So by doing this, it's going to free up her time to, one, keep hours at a consistent rate and spend more time finding bigger sponsors, bigger donors to kind of bring in some more revenue for Harvest Days, and at the same time, maybe bring in some new things to the event itself that we're not used to seeing because this person's a little more versed in event planning.
Yeah,
So,
and he has a lot of contacts, like the Detroit Circus Company, they're hard to book.
Yeah.
They're really hard to book, and,
He doesn't get any sponsorship money, that still would be on,
Yeah, no.
okay.
no, it's just, yeah.
Have you developed a budget for this year's event?
No, I think that's what I was gonna mention too. I think when we do our budget workshop, I think
Right.
that's where we kind of like lay this all
Right.
out and figure out what we're gonna spend on Harvest Day and how much of the budget is going to, you know, be
Usually the
related
last
to.
two years, it's been around 10, and we leased, the other year, when it rained, we really didn't have much out of pocket, but we usually cover at least half with sponsors.
So if
So
you,
it's great, we always do like up to, not to
Yeah,
exceed
not to
5,000.
exceed something like that.
So,
because if you add every single thing together on these pages, it's just about 10 grand. If you put every single event you have in here, starting with the circus and ending with the DJ, it's $10,000.
and that's
Which I
not
think
including,
what-
that,
And
this,
that doesn't
beginning all
include
these
these
things
things
on the
here.
front. This
Yeah,
doesn't
that doesn't
include all of the
include
lists
these
right
things.
here, there's still more that we would need. You still need face painters and the magician and the.
So you
But
pick-
these-
you-
That's typically what we have.
You take this as a cafeteria menu, and then you go
Yeah.
to this page and pick a few,
Right.
and then by the time you're done, you're at 10 grand.
We'll get 10 grand, you're right. It's 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is,
That's typical.
that's, you're not saying sign up for every single thing on these two
No,
pages,
no,
but
no.
some things off these 2 pages, plus some things off here to get us to about what we spent last year.
Yeah. Plus hopefully more
And we're hoping the
sponsorship.
bigger, the better this goes, the bigger sponsors we'll get.
Right.
Is our hope. Plus, we started with the wristbands.
Right, we started with the wristband last year, which offset the cost.
How much did we pay last year?
I don't remember right off the top of my head.
But again, that 10 grand doesn't include the hours that Lisa puts in.
Right, right. And Mike, I think too, we can, when we do our budget workshop, we can like review everything from last year too, just so it's all fresh in our minds, so we kind of know what we're expecting to spend this year as well for that particular event.
I wanna say it was like, I wanna say it was between 10 and 12, but the ticket sale, the wristband sales offset it, and then the sponsor. So,
We're expecting the people who did the loss, expected to make.
yeah, we were hoping, but we didn't have that last year, where this year I am talking with her again. I'm just hoping to secure a venue that she's willing to work with, so if I can secure that with her, that will bring in additional revenue to cover the costs.
The biggest
of
problem
her
is getting the shop owners on board
Mhm.
for the evening. We struggle with that.
It's a struggle. And I also discussed with this gentleman, an idea of a Halloween event in the park. That might be something that could also generate some revenue too. You know, let people know that, you know, we're gonna have something in the park with a band. You know, he suggested like, you know, he's got a zombie band and there's all kinds of things you can do at Halloween time. So that might be,
We're really we're hoping to raise money to do some sort of Christmas lights,
Right.
building Christmas lights, to do more than just the pools.
right.
Well, and too, with that Halloween, and the costume contest, you could almost, you know, get Parks and Rec involved, and, you know, the same way they do the tree lighting, you can have the costume contest. That would kind of be like either the big opening or the finale, one of the two.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, that's about it.
so a lot of stuff going on in the fall.
All of it.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Next up, we have funding request, just one here from Romeo Foundation for Educational Excellence. This is one that we've gotten a few times now. They're requesting $1,500 for the spring banners that spring and summer banners that the kids design. And you said, Amy said it's about 2 weeks out from these going up.
It's still improving. I've just completed the artwork on it.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get into production and get them back this week. And I was hoping that Tim would be able to put them up prior to the 11th when the student art show is at Starkweather, but I'm not committed 100% to that's going to happen.
Okay.
But I put it on Tim's radar. I'm still waiting for Lou and Lisa Joseph to sign off on the artwork before I can
Okay.
get them into production. There are 90 banners again this year.
Do you need a motion on that?
Pardon me?
It's
Yeah,
usually a fluid
we
date
need a
coming up.
motion to
Yes.
approve it.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Parker. Do I have a second? Second by Kuznanski. Can we just, real quick, I just want to make sure we know where this is coming, because I think it was just a few months ago that what did we approve? I just want to make sure, because Carol's not here, I want to make sure we have it in the budget and we have it allocated. And the other thing would be, we should allocate some funds for maybe just some generic Romeo banners that can go up in these downtimes when there's not events going on, something that's just, you know, Village of Romeo, throw them up there in between seasons so that we
They're
don't,
not seasoned in any way.
yeah, that way there's no, you know,
I thought we had set aside.
it can be as, and it doesn't have to be the double poles.
Last year for
Is it?
banners.
I did ask Carol to give me something so you can see. Right now, there's $3,500 under
We
new
gave
banners.
15
For new
for-
banners. So we could still, before the end of our budget, we could still approve this and get $1,500 worth of new banners so that we can kind of have, yeah.
Who wants to do the artwork?
I think you can just do some,
We'll figure it out.
Right? Yeah. I don't know if, has anybody inventory what's over at the DPW as far as banners? Because we
I
have the
didn't hear
trivia
about it.
ones.
I gotta go
Yes.
back and go
Those
through
are
them
still
again.
there, they're in
We
great
have the
shape.
trivia ones, and then there was like a burgundy and tan one that, I thought it just said downtown Romeo, but
Cause I went
Yeah.
over there and I looked at it all. Me and Lisa did. We were like, what? The trivia ones were actually kind of cool, but they were extra long, there was something about
Yeah,
them.
there's something about those.
Yes, there was like the, yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of what we do have, there's just not a full set of things that we normally would use a lot of. And that was part of the reason I think we scaled down too.
It'd be okay, right? We pick 2 or 3 of the different kinds and put them up in
Well, at this point, we're down to
50% of the
what,
spots.
3 or 4? The 2 students, Harvest and St. Patrick's, we're down to
St.
like
St.
4.
Patrick's isn't bad,
I
man.
think Four Corners Foundation put some up in the, right, just on the main.
Just at the four corners,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't even know what their time frame was.
I don't know, we gotta make sure the Peach Fest ones go up at the right time.
Did Relay for Life do any on the poles, or they just did the street crossing?
I think just the street crossing, I don't think they
Usually
went
the
up
ones
last
that
year.
are that type, we just do the 4 corners and then the entrances, just like we do with St. Patrick's.
Alright, so I mean,
Then the
we,
students could stay out most of them.
I just wanted to make sure we were solid in our budget for this year because it's coming towards the end.
But that's a good
we
idea, I
spend-
think that Romeo,
We need something generic.
Wholesale cost on those banners is about $90 a banner.
Okay,
Just if you're looking for a price point of how many you want to afford and,
because we don't need 90.
no,
well, and right, that price is based on a quantity discount.
Okay.
Because we get so many square foot, but just give you an idea.
yeah, because those are gonna be double
But
banner.
could we throw it in at the same time as we're printing a student one?
Yes.
There you go, just throw it in. We can get something done up.
But I don't think we're doing any Christmas ones this year because that's why she purposed the red and the
They're gonna
brown.
be
I
reused.
think we're only going to reuse just the red ones for this holiday season and not do any student artworks.
Okay,
But somebody may twist her arm. And she may decide she wants to undertake another project, I don't know, but it's a lot,
yeah,
yeah, so.
okay. All right, that's all I wanted to know. So we have a motion by Parker, second by Poznanski. Lisa, we just need a roll for this one.
President Parker,
Yeah.
Nancy,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Seiler,
Yes.
Chika,
Yes.
Branch,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yeah.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have the clock subcommittee report, which we pretty much covered in Lisa's notes. We've got, the clock is in, it's gonna be installed on the
And Tom,
10th, and then Saturday, April 13th, we're doing the dedication at 1 o'clock in front of the clock there.
I just took a picture that I'll post it.
Great. Are we doing that though? Should we post that?
you can post it's going up, but like the refreshment part of it is for the people that were,
The
the
donors?
people
and-
that donated, you know, everybody that is involved in the village.
And we invited people, for, you know, the
I'm
township.
thinking if someone's walking by and they stop you and tell them they can't hear.
No, no, of course
No.
not. But like, you know, we invited some of the board from,
Give me that.
it was Bruce and Washington.
Bruce and
We sent
Washington,
invites out
yeah.
because, I mean, they are part of our DEA.
Yeah,
Sometimes
the Historical
people,
Society,
yeah, sometimes people
Starkweather.
forget that, but
yeah.
we tried to just kind of, you know, cover everybody.
Who's paying for the refreshments? We are?
We are.
We are.
Okay, so you buy $50 more refreshments to cover the passerbys. Yeah.
And not everybody we invited is gonna show up either.
No,
So,
definitely not.
So does this give you a cookie or not?
You don't need one of those.
I just got the paper ones.
So you don't get
I got a copy of the
Mike and I
copy.
get a cookie.
So that's all we had, unless you guys have any questions on the clock subcommittee report.
Salad.
Next up, Megan, bench subcommittee report,
I don't really have any,
except for the
the 2
sales.
Gatewood choices that I asked for. Me and Lisa wanted, she got a whole total of the benches we had, and then we said, well, we're not even sure that's what we want, to just replicate exactly where they were.
Right.
So I didn't go back and ask for that number, because then I'm still gonna go ask them back for another number. We wanted to walk downtown and actually look and see what would be a good spot. Do we want more, do we want less? And we just, with the weather, haven't been able to walk around and see
Sure.
what we would want. So when we do, then we'll get that number, we'll get that quote. I don't know, do we have a time frame? Like, do we want to do this? How much more time do me and Lisa put into this?
I think we definitely want to do it. I don't think there's anybody that, based on what we've talked about at previous meetings, I think
People
everybody's.
utilize that seating
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
So yes, I think it would
So
be a
then
worthwhile
my-
project.
Yeah.
My thought would be, I would love to have this just done by Peach Fest.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
whatever, let's have a time, a date, because we just keep going and going.
What's the timeline on that? Like, how long does it take from the
Well, they
time the
told
order's
us
placed?
that because of the big orders, they said it's usually 4, but because of big orders, it's 6 to 8
So
to get them.
if we have our budget workshop and put that into the budget and get that approved for June, we could get those
It's
done
feasible depending
by
on,
August.
we gotta put them
Or
all
are we
together.
missing out on a summer? Or is that not enough time?
That's right,
DPW
because then you
is a
still have to
little
get it installed,
True.
right? Assembled, installed.
Yeah.
Do we have it in the budget for this year? Can we
The
can we
plaques
put it on the
made?
agenda
Could we
for
at
the
least order
approval?
it, get them
Yeah.
ordered? And that way they're,
But we could get them installed and put the plaques in later, because it's a jig, right? You just lay a jig on it, router it out, and then the plaque.
and they'll actually, I think if I tell them a size that they will.
They'll put
already
a
have
recess in
that.
there.
That's the action.
Yeah. You're not doing the jig, it's a jig that sets up a template.
So
I
do
didn't
you
make
think by
that
next
up.
month you could have total numbers so we could, find a spot for it in this year's budget?
Well, we should
and-
be able to walk around.
Let's get it approved for next month.
It did just snow.
Yeah, let's get it approved for May and then,
Just because in general, I have 2 kids that I have to take with us while we're doing it, and I'm not taking them in the snow. but
That's fair.
I think the weather will.
All right, let's plan on reviewing it for May then.
Cool.
Great, thanks Megan.
And then I'll get on the-
All right, moving on, any reports for unfinished business, those garbage cans, Lisa kind of covered that too, unless you guys have questions.
You still getting them painted?
I say no, that's my vote.
Mine too, but,
I've started that.
okay.
I like black.
I like black.
Better than those white ones that are there now.
But why's
That's
the
for
guy,
sure.
why's the guy next to you?
I know, I don't agree, we've already had a discussion.
Yep, everybody's got one vote.
So the next thing on the item is,
Moving on, under new business, budget workshop date. I don't know if we did one last year. Did we do a budget workshop, a
I don't
separate
remember
one?
much from last year.
We did not do one last
I
year.
didn't think so.
We talked about
Waiting
it,
for a
and
big.
Okay.
I think we could put it before the meeting.
yeah,
Maybe do an hour early, like
I'm gonna
meet
do a
at
half hour, because it's just
Okay.
taking this year's, going through it. Randy, that's all we did.
Yeah, I think we just did.
So
Okay.
let's just do this.
I think if we highlight the uniqueness that we want to focus on, then I think we'll get through it fast, right? We have 1 or 2 items.
I think we all kind of have an idea of what,
Yeah.
what the goals are for,
And if we have to, we can run 15 minutes and do our new meeting, because we're all going to be here anyways, right?
Now, but what month do we want to do it? Because I know we need to get it to the village, and then they need to approve it, and because if they
Yeah,
don't
let's do
approve
it
it, we
next
still
month.
need time.
let's do it, we'll plan on meeting at 6:30, May 6th, for a half hour budget workshop before our regular meeting. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
I think that was good, everybody said.
Another night.
Yeah,
And it won't interfere with Randy's hockey.
that's the.
Almost
we'll
done,
do it
man.
afterward.
We're done at the end of April. I'll quit whining after that. Well,
All right.
I'll quit whining about that.
That takes care of A under new business. Next B, Megan asked us to put the scavenger hunt.
It's this idea that me and Lisa have I've talked about for a couple of years, but we're like, we need to do it. It really won't cost the DDA much. I'm thinking a couple $100, and what the whole idea is, it incorporates the downtown, but it incorporates the whole village. Encouraging people to get out and walk, to get to know their village. Essentially, the plan at this point is to take 10 houses every 2 weeks, and you take a small snippet of a picture of their front decor, something in a little gnome, and I'll put down the streets, because I'm not just gonna say find these random 10 houses in the whole village and walk around and find them in 2 weeks. So I'll say Benjamin Street, Turner, Minot, and then you'll know to at least go, they're on those streets, and you go and you try and find what house number it is, and you write it down. And how we incorporate the downtown is I have a bulldog figurine, and it will go in a business window, and you're gonna have to find Romeo. And then whoever gets pulled, you turn in your slip, whoever gets pulled, that's where the $200 comes in. I'll get like a $20 gift certificate for that business for those 2 weeks, and the winner that gets pulled gets the $20 gift certificate.
So this would go out to kind of other residents or like
It's gonna be
people,
for
kids?
anybody.
It's
I
like,
mean,
is it a
even,
school thing,
I'm
or-
hoping we'll even pull in people from other communities to come walk around Romeo on a weekend. It will be something fun. My plan is not to just take pictures of anybody's house and get approval,
For
whether
sure.
I have to walk up to the door. I'm gonna put together the whole idea and put it out on Facebook, and hopefully people will be willing and send me their addresses, and then I don't have to knock on doors. But I'm not just gonna put anybody's house because maybe you don't want to participate.
Yeah.
You will not need to leave the sidewalk. You will not be walking onto people's lawns, or you don't need to go into the business. You will be able to walk down the street at night and see Romeo the Bulldog in the window. So it will just be a walkable, get out in the community, get some exercise, and I'm hoping people walking around our downtown.
Yeah. Something different. I've never heard of.
We're gonna-
Do other communities do anything like that?
I used to do it up, we used to go camping up at a campground. And
That's
for the
where I've
week,
done it before.
for the weekend, and it was fun, you drove around in the golf cart and you tried to find everything. We're just gonna try and.
I just wonder how other neighbors might feel. Yeah, you sign up for it for your house, you're cool with it, but if your neighbors don't like.
But they're on the
it.
sidewalk.
You're
on the
walking.
street.
Yeah.
It's
People walk
public
anyways.
property.
Sure.
I mean, you can take a picture of my dog in the window, he's always there.
So maybe just, are you just gonna kind of come up with a budget and then like we can say not to exceed
My
X
hope
amount
is
if
just,
you
it's
want the
gonna be
DDA
a
to
couple
fund
$100,
it? or-
$20 to $25 for the gift certificate, at least worth it that the people actually, ooh, yeah, won
Yeah,
something, not just
sure.
$10. And I don't know, maybe the businesses will even donate it.
Yeah, I
We
was
just
just gonna
hate,
suggest
we hate asking the businesses to continue to donate though.
Yeah,
So,
You-
and there's been
we're
times
trying.
I've just bought the certificate myself, just because it's just easier that
well,
way.
didn't we have at one point, didn't we make like downtown gift certificates that the DDA
We
could
did.
buy and then people could use them at
Anywhere.
whatever store they
Yeah.
wanted?
And then the proprietor just brought it in and got the
Right,
reimbursement.
right. So that's something we might be able to do as well. That way they can spend it wherever they want within the, DDA.
But it was just this idea, and we're on board with it.
Put our logo behind it.
Light work,
Yeah.
and,
I mean, yeah.
Are you gonna advertise it, people just Facebook kind of thing?
yeah, yeah. I was hoping that we could put some of the flyers at Village Hall, because it's free, so it's not any paying. People just could come if they could be on the desk, and then even,
Share it on
we haven't
social
decided
media.
if we want to return it to both places, or if we can just return it to the DDA building, if it will be.
Just put it in the mailbox.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, is that we can just slide them in the mailbox at the DDA, at the.
I mean, that's
building.
when you're done and you checked everything.
The Village Hall's getting a new Dropbox. I think Catherine just ordered it too. So again, for after hours, they'll pay, they can drop them in there, and then we get it out every day, or, well,
That'd be better.
every
We just wasn't
business
sure
day.
if we wanted
but-
to give you guys more work or collect it in two places, or just do the one, so we'll iron it out.
Pile.
but-
Pass it around here.
Exactly,
So-
we can make a pile, yeah. No
All
problem.
right, cool.
Okay.
Good idea. All right, takes care of new business, board member comments. Ted?
Good.
Bill? President Melba? Randy?
Thank you, sir.
I signed up for the Michigan Main Street, I heard that you did, and you did, anybody else? For the Michigan Main Street training at the end of
Carol said she did too.
April? She said she was going to. If you haven't and you want to come,
Because how many do we need?
I don't remember the number.
It's like half?
They wanted at least half, but it didn't have to be right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Howell on the 30th. Do you still have time?
From April 30th? What day is
Is it
it?
Tuesday? Wednesday?
All right, anybody else? Carl? No? Motion to adjourn? Motion by Parker, second by Seidel, all in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Michigan